In my view, quality-wise, the best football match I've seen is Germany, Italy, World Cup 2006. That is the best football match I've ever seen. This match has, you cannot tell me that there are 6, 7, or 8 games that were more exciting than this game for pure, raw, unadulterated excitement. This has to be one of the most eventful, exciting, craziest football matches that I've ever seen in my life. Who? Okay, basically, let me start with this because we're going to break this down in like 3. Look, this is going to be a bloody long hangout. Okay, look, let's just break it down like this.
3 hours.
Who do you put the blame to for the Man City loss? Let's look at Man City first. Who is to blame for the Man City loss? Do you blame Pep? Do you blame Aguero? Remember, we're looking at both legs, the whole thing, the whole pie. Do you blame Pep? Do you blame Aguero for missing the penalty? Do you blame Laporte for his 2 mistakes? Who is this? If it's to pick one person to blame for Man City, blame Aguero? Do you blame Laporte? Do you blame Pep? Or do you blame the entire team? Or is nobody to blame? Ali?
And in my opinion, and they're all kind of a bit to blame, but mostly I would blame Pep Guardiola, right? Because I'll tell you why. Because first of all, he benched De Bruyne and he benched Sané, yes, which they could have won. Second leg, he didn't bench anyone, but like the way he started, like what do you call it? He didn't have the guts, in my opinion. He didn't have the guts.
Ali, did Pep beg Aguero to miss a penalty though?
But you're right. Aguero didn't miss a penalty, but so many people miss penalties and the game is not over. They lost a tie in their home against Spurs. Yeah, Laporte made 2 mistakes. I completely blame as well. But that game was exciting because of lack of defense both sides, in my opinion.
Premier League defending.
Right? That was not even horrific. That was just disastrous defending. And Guardiola did not have the guts to bench, and play Fernandinho first of all. And secondly, he should have benched Silva, David Silva mostly. He was horrendous. If he played, and Sané, Sterling, Aguero, and played Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and Fernandinho, they would have wrapped that game up early. Yep. But he didn't have the guts, you know what I mean? So I blame him. Listen, he spent so much money. He needs to win the Champions League. It's no excuse, no more. There's no excuse.
You spent way too much money, Pep. Don't worry, we'll get to Pep, don't worry. Barca, who do you blame mostly for this City exit?
I blame the English media for City.
I knew you should say something like that.
No. There's a reason. Okay, there's a reason.
I can't wait to hear this.
This is why I'm saying this. Because for me, when I researched the English Premier League, the teams that were known were Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Nottingham Forest. Those teams were there. There was no City. City was nowhere when Nottingham Forest was winning 2 UCLs.
Barca, great match to talk about. You're talking about this. Come on, man. Get to the point.
But okay. All right, let me get to the point.
Look. Barca, stay on points, man. Stay on the points, bro. Come on, bro.
Okay. My point is, Pep is not a great manager.
Who is to blame? Who is to blame? Just name me one. Who is to blame? It's very simple. Just who is to blame? Just name me one person to blame for City.
Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is to blame for City. He is so restricted to one style that he's not experimental. He needs to find a way to be experimental. That is why I rate Luis Enrique over Pep Guardiola.
Easy.
Enrique is experimental. Enrique, Barcelona's the dumb.
Barca, you better come with a proper explanation as to why you came up with Luis Enrique over Pep Guardiola.
Okay, all right. I know a lot of people say that Enrique had like a really good back three and that's what made him a successful coach in Barcelona. I know that's what a lot of people say. But listen, it's not just because of that. It's not just because of that Barcelona won the Champions League. It is his man management. It is literally him being experimental. Sometimes he would go with a 4-3-3. Sometimes
No,
he'll go with a
no.
4-4-2.
Barca.
We're saying
nah.
experimental Luis
Barca
Enrique.
have won with that front. So basically, so Barca, just so in short, Pep is to blame because again, I'm not doing for Luis Enrique. That's just ludicrous. That's just madness. Barca, thank you. Christ, who's to blame for City getting knocked out? One
Honestly,
factor.
Pep Guardiola, man, and the
Wow.
reason
Damn.
for this is because the first leg, like, how do you bench your most creative midfielder? How do you bench your most explosive winger besides Sterling? Like, and the thing is, his substitutions were so late. Double H. I understand that he was saving them from the Premier League because they were playing Palace that weekend where he rested them, but he could have at least played them for 30 minutes and half an hour. It was the 80th minute, and this guy barely brought him in. Like, he should have brought him in earlier if he wasn't gonna start them. I give like half the blame to Aguero, because I thought he could have done more throughout the two legs, but I give most of the blame to Pep Guardiola.
Okay. Four.
And by the way, HH, Mourinho over Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
That's,
Forward.
All right, so Pep Guardiola has definitely opened himself up to a lot of criticism just based off how he's performed with Man City in the Champions League. But based off of these two legs, in my opinion, he's exempt to any criticism for what he did on these two legs.
Excuse me?
Exempt. Yes.
Why?
Reason why is because he set up Man City perfectly in that first leg in terms of minimizing space for Tottenham to counter. You saw how they had very little chances on the counter attack. Yes, Son scored that one goal from Del's mistake, but again, that can happen. Obviously, Aguero missed that huge penalty, and then when he turned it on in the last few minutes, again, Man City created a lot of chances and could have scored in the last few minutes.
Wait,
Let me land.
Those guys on for 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
I'm talking about the first leg. I'm talking about the first leg. Now,
I know. In the first leg, he gave De Bruyne and Sterling like about 5 minutes to change the game.
Even then, you saw how he controlled the game. You got to remember how he did in the first legs of other games previously, when he conceded a lot of goals against Monaco in the first leg. When against Liverpool, he got blitzed out. If you look at it comparatively to that, they kept a pretty decent scoreline, and it was a good performance away at Tottenham, which is a tough place to go to, especially their new stadium. So I thought it was a decent performance. 1-0 going back to the Etihad. Okay, you can see how it goes. And again, when you look at how he performed, how his team performed, his tactics, how he set up, they completely neutralized Spurs defensively. They dominated them. Kevin De Bruyne performed a 10 out of 10 performance. It was absolutely masterclass. Sterling scored a hat-trick. Again, we'll get on to that third goal later on, but it was an amazing performance from him. And in terms of what he could do for Man City offensively, I thought he did very well. Defensively, there was a few question marks, but again, Tottenham are a great team to a degree going forward, obviously with the likes of Son and Moura. And again, when you look at how they were defensively on those goals, complete lapses in our concentration from Laporte on both of those first two goals, and even the third goal from Llorente's the set piece. Again, just poor defending on the set piece, with poor marking from for Laporte. Kyle Walker missed his header at the front post. So again, how can you blame Pep Guardiola for all of that? I don't think you can. Then he even made the substitution of bringing on Sane for Mendy, which was a ballsy substitution to make. And they scored that last-minute goal. Yes, it was ruled off by VAR. But again, you look at Pep Guardiola, he set up his team great. His team didn't take the chances, but you can't now say, oh, he's a fraud because of this one game in isolation. No. Maybe if you want to look at it in whole, and maybe say that, oh, because Man City have not done that great in the Champions League, maybe you can look at Pep and say, oh, because you've got no Messi, maybe you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. We can have a conversation later on. But in terms of this game, in isolation, you can't blame Pep Guardiola. Absolutely. That's
Wait. Chill. Don't worry. You'll get time to respond. Hazem, who's to blame? Or is Ford smoking crack? Hazem, who's to blame?
I mean, no, it has to be Guardiola. I mean, there's several reasons for this. There's obviously the first is De Bruyne. I don't know how you can't start De Bruyne in such an important game in the Champions League. We saw how
easy.
We saw how well he did, and the chance he created against Tottenham. And second leg, you're holding a lead. How do you not start Fernandinho? You know that Tottenham are going to come out and attack. You know that the Son, Ali are all going to cause some problems. And Fernandinho is the guy that can really limit them and help out the defense and really be the guy that can interrupt the Tottenham's attacks. Without Fernandinho, you had Gundogan, who was more attacking than defending, and there was so much space for Tottenham to exploit. It was crazy. And obviously, Laporte deserves some of the blame.
Some? Sorry. Yeah. I'm going to mute my mic. Sorry. I'm going to mute.
Yeah, he deserves some of the blame, but without Fernandinho in front of him, this is what a protection he's been having that he suddenly removed it from him. and now the defense just looked clueless without Fernandinho in front of them. So especially with such a Tottenham team coming at them, so that was a huge blunder by Guardiola. And yeah, man, he cost them the game. Obviously, aside from Guardiola, there's also the Aguero factor, because if Aguero scored that penalty in the first leg, that's a huge away goal. That's a huge away goal, and we saw in this match that the fact that City didn't have an away goal was always weighing in on them mentally, because each time Tottenham scored, it was like a huge mental blow to City, because knowing that they don't have the away goal, they know that this is huge for Tottenham. Each away goal is like 2 goals. So yeah, man, the main blame goes to Guardiola, and but there has to be some criticism put on Aguero for balling in the most important moment.
So okay, so the main person you're blaming is Pep.
Yeah, man, it has to be. It's obvious.
So I believe Man City are your current team or your previous team.
Yeah, it's the current. Like this was painful.
Okay. Okay, so who is the main person to blame for your current team? Which one be your current team anymore?
I blame Pep Guardiola. He's the reason. He is a coward. The man is a coward. First of all, the fact that he had the audacity to bench De Bruyne and Sané in the first leg was a disaster. Considering how good De Bruyne was good in this second leg, I mean, he should have started him in the first leg. That should have been an easy win. Not easy, but it should have been a win or at least a draw. And the other thing is, Mahrez is a flop. I don't know why he doesn't trust Mahrez that much. And why is David Silva still starting? I was shocked to see David Silva in that second leg starting. I was like, this guy, he was a disaster in the first leg. He played really bad in the first leg, and he still starts again. And with what's his name? And with Laporte, I don't know if he left his brains at home. He's not composed. He gave away 2 free goals. This game should have ended 4-1. Laporte just gave away. He gave away 2 free goals. I don't know what he's doing. And for Pep, the other thing is, Kompany is the best midfielder. I understand he prefers defenders that can pass the ball, but Kompany, like, the only person that was giving me like confidence in that defense is Kompany. Laporte, I don't know what this man. I now see why they don't pick him for the French national team. He's not composed. I don't know why. He's too emotional for some reason. He's carried away by the moment. And with Mendy, I mean, Mendy doesn't. He used to have the best crosses in the world. Right now, he can't even run. I don't know what's going on with Mendy. He probably needs to be off social media for a while, because he needs to improve his game. And for Man City in general, I mean, Pep, I just dare Pep to lose this. I dare him to lose the Premier League. All this will look so dumb that he benched all these players. He will look so stupid for benching all these players. So he chose which title to go for. Hopefully he wins it, because he will look so stupid. He'll be a big failure.
Well, I mean, but before I go to Muntaha, which is a point that Fordos was making, what he did in the first leg was. And we'll also get to Pep after. What he did, he made a choice, and the choice was either you prioritize the Champions League or you try and go for the quadruple. That setup he put wasn't to try and stifle Tottenham. That setup was, I'm trying to go for the quadruple because I'm trying to rest these guys for a very tricky game away to Palace on the weekend. So I have to do this rotation and pick my guys carefully, rest guys, because we really are trying to win all 4 trophies. Whereas in my view, homeboy, win the flipping. That's your priority.
And that's a horrible move, because even Carlo Ancelotti said it. Like, you play each game. You don't look at 2 games ahead. You play each game. You play your best squad each game. You don't look at the squad ahead. And Ford mentioned about like the players. I mean, Kyle Walker, I don't rate the guy. I don't know why they bought him. And the problem is, we can't blame the players. Pep likes these players. He's the one that bought them. So anything they do, all the responsibility goes to Pep. I mean, if they do bad, the blame goes to Pep. Because I like this Pep is just, I don't rate. I mean, I don't rate him highly because of this.
Okay, all right.
Can't wait to come back here.
HH, how many levels of Brick Academy do you have, such as A, B, C?
So we have Class C, Class B, Class A, scholarship, and Alonso currently has a PhD.
No. You have to give lottery to first Pep Guardiola. No PhD. Give him directly lottery. I'll tell you. Do you know how many zeros No. Let me tell you. Yeah, let me tell you. Do you know how many zeros, like in that figure, you have after 7? No. I'm not kidding. No. I said you, HH. On the last week hangout, I said you have to put this guy directly into brick academy. I don't care.
Wait. Put
No,
Guardiola in
I'll
the
tell you why.
academy?
I'll tell you why. From a tactical perspective as well. Okay, De Bruyne. This guy is your best player. Yeah, this guy is your best player. How you benched him in the first leg? That was the mess. That was the end. When you come up with 0 goals, yeah, with one more 0, you came up with. And secondly, arrogance. What kind of arrogance was that? Oh, that was Spurs team. We have beaten them, defeated them, butchered them, in the Premier League. So it's easy for us. Like, we'll be relaxed, to play against them. We'll get away goal kind of stuff. Wow. What kind of mentality is that? What kind of, pre-mindset you have? And the final thing I just want to say on this stuff, yeah? Aguero, do you call him the best striker? Like, especially the Premier League fanboys? Are you mad?
Premier League match.
Do you call him the best striker?
Not touching Lewandowski.
No. Forget about touching level. He's not sleeping near Benzema level, man. Okay? You're not sleeping near Benzema level.
Wait. Munsa, finish. Munsa.
Look, man. The way you, even in the second leg, you're benching Fernandinho because he has 1 yellow card, so he might miss the semi-final. What is that, bro? Come on, man. No way. You cannot jeopardize your situation. And you know what? Stones. Yeah. Sorry. Laporte needs to be directly into Brick Academy Z. Whatever you have.
He's had a good season.
You know what? I'm going to say something about Laporte. Wait. Very brief about Laporte. He had a bad game.
Yes.
I'm sorry. In my view, let's take that second leg away. Laporte has played really well and been one of City's best defenders.
No. Thank you.
You can't just think
No. Guys, let's because it's very, people have very short-term memory, and I know that when you play really badly, people are like, oh, let's be real. For the past 2-3 months, compare Laporte's performances to Varane and Umtiti. Laporte has been the best performing French central defender. He just everybody has a bad game.
Bro. Hate it. You're forgetting it.
Yes.
Get lonely out of here.
Wait. Let's go on Muntaha.
Yeah, hate the Premier League defending. I'm talking about Champions League. Where was Laporte against Lyon?
Wait. You say Premier League, but Spurs their Premier League team as well.
No. Listen. First of all, Premier League boys need to chill, yeah? Because Premier League is not the technical level or the closer to the level of quarterfinal, semi-finals, Champions.
He was playing against the Premier League team.
Why are there more Premier League teams?
Wait, guys, one at a time. Let's just Muntaha, let him land. One at a time.
You're literally the best in England, bro. I haven't seen the best team in Spain. Okay, or in Germany, Bayern Munich, or in Barcelona, Madrid, yeah, they're the literally best team, and they're ruling Spain, and they're like getting out in the quarterfinals. Apart from last season, Barcelona.
Exactly. That's true.
Except that.
It's a good point.
If you're a best team, at least you have to be semi-finalists, bro. Sorry, mate.
Yep.
You're underperforming, and your league. Now I have to doubt, and now you know what? You have to compare the technical level. Which Premier League players can play in the Champions League? That's the quality of this league. Yeah, I'm telling you, this league is full of donkeys.
Guys, look, it's all going to get explosive, man. Okay. Wait, guys, easy. We have a lot to cover. Trust me, I'm going to give us that because we have a lot to cover. Red.
Yeah, you said who do we blame?
Who? If you had to pick one factor to blame, do you blame Pep? Do you blame Aguero? Do you blame Laporte?
None of the above. I blame Sonaldo for being too good. Bro, Son was just too good on the night. He was clutch. Showed up and scored a brace. Like, why are we focusing on tearing down Pep when we could just praise this player? He stepped up in a Champions League quarterfinal against one of the best Premier League sides we've seen recently. And with that, just to throw your argument outside the window, he was playing a Premier League team with Daha. So all that fancy football that you're talking about, and you're being condescending towards the Premier League, he was playing against another Premier League team. So there you go.
That's your level. No, but that's your level.
Now, let's
just imagine. Just imagine this team, facing Barcelona in final. I'm telling
Look,
you,
look.
man.
We don't have to imagine they're out. They're gone. We don't have to worry about
He's
that.
another guy. Okay, ready.
Yeah. Anyways, what's it called? About Pep. I said last week two things. I said one, he took a gamble, which it could have paid off, and I was gonna praise him, but it didn't pay off. It actually backfired because now he's out of the Champions League, and the league isn't guaranteed for him because Liverpool are on him. And second, like, sorry, lost my train of thought. My bad. But yeah, Pep, like, his teams are glass cannons. His teams are glass cannons. Like, as soon as Tottenham put a bit of pressure on them, their defense folded, and it's his fault that they were put in that position. If in the first leg you played every game at a time instead of worrying about 3-4 games ahead, you would have put yourself in this situation to begin with. You could have dealt with Spurs because they routinely beat Spurs. Like, City are clearly the better team. Even after the win, I still would say City are a better team than Spurs. But it's just that Pep set them up poorly. He took a risk. Why bench De Bruyne? Why is Sané not getting any game time?
Can I come back in on that, please?
No. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. So if he ends up not winning the Premier League, then he has to be a brick. He has to be a brick.
No. Okay. Saswat.
Yeah, I actually know the answer. The answer is quite clear. It's Pep. Because this has to be one of the worst team selections in a knockout game that I've ever seen.
Damn.
One of the worst. Because, for someone who's this technically good, Sané and De Bruyne, how can you bench these guys when you have such an important game? That just goes to show that Pep Guardiola's priority was never the Champions League. It was always the Crystal Palace game. And Crystal Palace did a fluke in the Etihad. Everybody knew, especially after seeing that home game. That they won't do it. It was a complete mismatch. So basically, it's just down to Pep. And I don't know why people are giving so much credit to Pep, because Pep is a defensive clown. He does not know anything about defensive. He knows that he's going to have so much of the ball. He knows that the only tactic that he has is
good point.
And he knows that Spurs are going to counter-attack. He knows this thing. But literally, and his fullbacks, he knows that his fullbacks are not going to put in a lot of crosses. So at least at some point, the fullbacks have the audacity and have the brain to track back. But they don't do that. And everybody's blaming Laporte. I know Laporte is not the best defender in the world. But he had a lot of brain farts in this game. But it's just down to Pep's tactics. He has to tell these fullbacks to drop back because he knows that Tottenham have the pace to counter-attack. He knows this fact. And not playing Fernandes.
Well, that was a risk one. He needed those G's.
But still, he knows that constantly attacking with the squad they have, playing Sané, Sterling, De Bruyne, his best players. He knows that he's going to get goals. He has done that in the past. But this time he went conservative and he paid the price. It's just basically trying to be conservative in Champions League and prioritizing the Premier League.
Okay, all right. Next talk. Okay.
Wait, no, I've got to come back on that story. I have to come back in.
Okay. Just a quick comeback and then we'll move on to the next thing.
A lot of people want to throw a lot of shade onto Pep right now, and I think it's just completely uncalled for. Like, if you look at it, if you break it down piece by piece, right? I don't know if anybody watched Pep Guardiola's pre-match press conference when he talked about Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think anybody here watched it, but he talked about how we couldn't play Kevin De Bruyne in 3 games in a week. And we saw what happens when he played in 3 games in a week. He got injured in a league game against Spurs, which is why he didn't start him in the first leg game against Spurs, and obviously at their stadium. So that's why he didn't want to play him in that game. I thought tactically, when he played Gundogan and Fernandinho in that first leg, it worked. It stifled Tottenham a lot. You can't disagree and say it didn't when they only had 3 shots on target compared to obviously how Man City dominated possession and so on and so forth.
The ABC of Champions League football is you need an away goal.
Yeah, and pass the loss. So
and he got the penalty. And he got the penalty.
But why did he bench
Fernandinho? Fernandinho was slightly injured for going into the second leg. Again, if you listen to Pep Guardiola's statement in his press conference, you would have seen that as well. By the way, also when it comes to Sané, I think this needs to be said because again, I think a lot of people look at Sané with this through tinted glasses, and I think you can see the ability there. He's pacey, he can go past the play with ease, but he's not the player everybody thinks he is. He's not an amazing player. Not right now. He's very inconsistent.
You're smoking. No. You can't come and say Sané is an amazing player. That's messed up.
Let
him land. Let's forward talk.
Thank you. Everybody relax. Chill. The reason why I say that is because you look at it. what the fuck are you doing over there? Look, when you look at it and compare him to Sterling, Sterling is performing amazing football right now. You don't bring in Sané to disrupt your best player, who's Sterling right now. He's performing. If you move Sané in, he has to play on the left, and you have to move Sterling to the right, and that means you have to displace one of Sterling or Bernardo Silva, who were amazing in that game. Again, when nobody's talking about Pep got the tactics wrong, they outplayed Tottenham in that 90 minutes. They even scored a last-minute winner. Yes, they got disallowed because of VAR, but they outplayed them. So how can people say that, Man City, Pep got his tactics wrong? No, they outplayed them. It's not his fault that his players didn't take the chances and finish.